Neighbors and loved ones remember Jennifer Brown one day after her body was found partially buried outside of a warehouse in Royersford.
One day after Jennifer Brown's death was discovered half buried outside of a warehouse in Royersford, her neighbors and loved ones still talk about her. In Limerick Township, Pennsylvania, on January 3, 2023, Jennifer Brown, 43, vanished, leaving her son Noah, 8, alone at home. Her close friend and business partner, 33-year-old Blair Watts, reported her missing the following day, on January 4th, after he was unable to reach her. Authorities, along with her family and friends, conducted a thorough search of the town for any signs she could have left behind. What was possible for Jennifer? Why would she just up and leave her son behind? Hi and welcome back to Mysterious Cases 007. If you are new here, please consider subscribing to Mysterious Cases 007 as it helps us motivate to create more intriguing content for you. Let's have a look at the 8-year-old boy who solved his mother's murder. Without further ado, let's begin our investigation of the riddle. In the American state of Pennsylvania's Montgomery County, there is a township by the name of Limerick Township. The settlement bears the name of William Evans, a pioneer who came to the area with his family from Limerick Island in 1698. The Limerick Nuclear Power Plant, one of its main enterprises, employs a large number of people in the town. The year 1979 saw the birth of Jennifer Brown in the USA. She had a joyful and carefree childhood growing up in the 1980s. She gave birth to a gorgeous baby named Noah in 2014 who was the apple of her eye. He was her first and only child. She raised him alone because his father wasn't involved. She was a kind mother who adored her kid, especially after he was identified as having autism at a young age and required special care. Noah was 8 years old and Jennifer was 43 years old in January 2023. They just had each other. They needed to live a happy life in 1408 Stratford Court in Limerick Township, Pennsylvania. Because of the closeness the two shared, their family, friends, and neighbors adored them for their generosity and compassion. Nevertheless, disaster was just around the bend and struck when nobody was expecting it. Jennifer Brown vanished on January 3, 2023, leaving no trace as to where she might have been. Her friend Blair Watts, who had visited her from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. that day, was the last person to see her. She had asked him to pick up her son Noah from the bus stop after school so they could take him to his house for a sleepover, something they did frequently. Blair dropped Noah off at his bus stop the following day, January 4th, and he went to school as usual. Yet, Noah was acting out in class that day at school in a way that was extremely unusual for him. He appeared to be in a bad mood. His teachers were concerned about his behavior and sought to figure out why. They discovered that he had skipped the previous 2 doses of his autism medicine, something they knew had never happened. Also, Noah revealed to them that his mother had left for the grocery shop and had never returned. This further alarmed his instructors because they were aware that Jennifer was a loving mother who was very involved with her son and would never forget to give him his medication or leave him alone. They attempted to contact her during the day but were unable, which convinced them that something had gone wrong because Jennifer typically responded to inquiries about any issues her son could be experiencing at school. Blair Watts, a friend of Jennifer's, had been attempting to contact her at the same time but had been unsuccessful. At 4 o'clock that afternoon, he headed over to his bus stop to see if Jennifer would be there to pick him up, but she did not appear. He had no choice except to call the police and report Noah missing after picking her up himself. Officer Stephen Crawford of the Limerick Township Police Department visited 1408 Stratford Court at 4 p.m. on that day to check on Jennifer after she had been reported missing. Her car was discovered to be parked in front of her house, and upon entering, he discovered that her keys, handbag, tablet, and work cell phone were all still present. When the police tried to locate her personal cell phone, they discovered that it had been switched off at 7 a.m. on January 4th and had not been traceable since. Nevertheless, her personal cell phone was nowhere to be found. At Limerick Township, it was last seen 400 meters from Lewis Road and Ridge Pike. Now certain that something awful had occurred to Jennifer, her absence was officially declared, and a comprehensive inquiry was started. in order to find out if anyone had seen or heard anything around the time of her disappearance. However, no one had heard or seen anything at the time, and according to everyone they spoke with, including her Aunt Diane Breen, friend Tiffany Barron, and business partner Blair Watts, Jennifer would never go on her own because she loved her baby Noah with all of her heart. After discovering no leads, authorities, her family, friends, and volunteers searched the town and surrounding areas. After 2 weeks of searching, a large group of people failed to find her. Her family publicly appealed for information, but nothing was revealed. Jennifer may have vanished forever. But 2 warehouse workers in Royersford, Limerick's adjacent city, took a smoke break in a field behind the warehouse on January 18th, 2 weeks after she was reported missing. Smoking felt strange. As they approached, a woman's body in a shallow grave terrified them. The police responded quickly and identified the body as the woman they had been searching for 2 weeks. The autopsy revealed homicide by undetermined means. Jennifer died from asphyxiation, meaning that she was smothered or suffocated. She suffered 3 broken ribs, suggesting she fought her killer before being beaten. When the investigation moved from missing person to homicide, police interviewed her relatives and friends. Blair, Jennifer's buddy, was said to have had her personal phone with him when he arrived at Noah's house to pick up his iPad, according to information provided to the authorities by Noah's instructor. This information was provided by Noah to Blair on the day Jennifer vanished. The police were able to identify Blair as a suspect thanks to this fresh evidence, which prompted them to look into his relationship with Jennifer in further detail. They uncovered a number of dubious facts regarding their business cooperation, including Jennifer's investment in Blair's shuttered restaurant, Bertie's Kitchen, which was going to resurrect with her help. The police started looking into Blair as the main suspect in Jennifer's slaying. Blair said Jennifer sent him $36,000 between August and January to help him relaunch his firm. She owed him $9,000 to fulfill their contract, he said. Blair signed a lease and paid the property owners a share of the rent to establish Bertie's Kitchen in January 2023. Blair invested Jennifer's money but never paid the property owners. He spent it on himself. On December 26, 2022, the property owners canceled his contract for not paying rent. Blair was hopeless. He had no money or restaurant space. Police were persuaded he did a horrific deed in his attempt to survive. The iPad found in Jennifer's home showed 2 $17,000 financial transactions from her account to Bertie's Kitchen on January 3rd. The Jennifer Blair contract did not include this amount. The transfers failed until the iPad's 2-factor authentication was switched off. The property owners who canceled Blair's contract told police that it happened on January 4th, the same day Blair reported Jennifer missing. He arrived at the house and told the owners he had the money to lease. After Noah, Jennifer's kid told his teacher that Blair Watts had Jennifer's phone with him on the day she went missing. It was determined that Blair Watts was the primary suspect in her murder. The investigation into Blair's relationship with Jennifer led the police to uncover data regarding their business arrangement that raised suspicions. These details included Jennifer's involvement in Blair's restaurant, which was known as Bertie's Kitchen. They assumed that Blair killed Jennifer at her apartment on January 3, 2023, stole her phone, buried her body in a tiny hole near Royersford, and then pretended to check on her while dropping off Noah at the bus stop in order to avoid suspicion. Jennifer's body was discovered near Royersford. The cadaver dog that the police trained to identify biological remains was able to pick up on the scent of Jennifer's blood in both Blair's car and house. On February 8th, Blair was taken into custody on charges of theft in the first degree, third degree, and overall theft. If he were to be found guilty, he would very certainly spend the remainder of his life behind bars. Family and friends of Jennifer were left in utter disbelief when they learned that someone they knew and trusted had been the one to take her life. Tiffany Barron, the representative for Jennifer's family, stated their happiness that Jennifer's murderer had been apprehended and that they could now move on with their lives. The story of a case that was only solved because the victim's 8-year-old son caught the killer making a mistake and remembered it. This incident shows that when you do something terrible like Blair did, you will eventually be discovered. How did you perceive the situation, though? If Noah hadn't spotted his mother's phone, do you believe Blair would have gotten away with it? Or do you believe it was only a matter of time before the cops became suspicious of him after learning about his transactions? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you liked the video. Stay safe until next time, and thanks for watching.